right, so we are going to be starting our unit on radicals, and specifically we're going to be looking at square roots. And so our topic today is simplifying square roots. So the first thing that we have to ask ourselves today is, what is a radical, or what does a radical do? A radical is a sign that indicates repeated division. So we kind of touched on radicals a little bit last chapter when we solved by using them, but we didn't really know what they were doing. We just knew that they got rid of something. Radicals are used to eliminate exponents. Okay, so if I have a exponent of 2, I use a radical to eliminate it. And the reason that is because an exponent is repeated multiplication, where the radical is undoing it by being repeated division. Okay, so when I'm solving for something that's under a radical sign, I'm asking myself, what is this number divided by repeatedly? Okay, so we have something called a perfect square root. Okay, perfect square root means when I solve this, I'm going to get a nice, pretty answer. Okay, there's not going to be any decimals to these. These are going to come out nice and even. So when I'm simplifying a perfect square root, I'm going to ask myself, essentially, looking at 4, what times itself gets me 4? 2, okay? So essentially I'm saying, all right, what times itself equals this so that I can divide it back out? So, and we know that whenever we are taking the square root of something, that our answer is always plus minus. So here our answer is 2. So when I'm thinking about simplifying radicals, I think kind of backwards. What times what gets me the number underneath the radical? So here, number 2, what times what would give me 81? 9. Okay, and remember, when I'm taking the square root of anything, it is a plus or a minus 9. So why don't you take a few seconds to go through and just do a couple more while they're fresh in your head. Now, when you get down here to some of these larger numbers, these might have, you might have to do a little guess and check right now. What times what is going to get me 256? What times what is going to give me 121? So do a little guess and check right now to see if you can figure out some of those larger numbers, and then we'll regroup back together at the fractions.
I got it.
Yeah.
When we do the square root of the fraction, would we leave it as a fraction, or?
No, once you take the square root, once you take the radical away, then you don't need that radical anymore. Okay, so if it is a perfect square root, that radical sign is going to completely go away. Well, and we'll talk about when does it stick around, but for right now, that radical completely goes away.
Do you want us to simplify it to a decimal, or?
Nope. In this chapter, we're going to leave everything with a radical sign. So right now, just take a couple minutes, figure out what number times what number gets me 256, and I want you to do that for 3, 4, 5, and 6.